So hey guys, welcome back to 1MUFC. My name is Mohak Reds, and tonight we have with us Tanmay, Vignesh and Anandu, the regular panel that we have before our match days. And tonight we are going to discuss about Phil Jones. Yes, you heard that name right. Phil Jones is back at Carrington. He's back from injury. Maybe he's back on his holidays because on regular days he's mostly found in the hospital. So you could say this that he is back on his holidays, and we'll discuss a bit about the Grenada game as well because looking at the current scenario, it has to be United that goes through, after the second leg. But you never know because with Manchester United, you can never be so sure about anything. And with the given record, that we have this season, we are the most unluckiest team, in the not just in the Premier League but also in the Europe because the way we got out in the Europa last season against Sevilla, that was pretty heartbreaking. Then the way we got out of the FA Cup against Leicester, that was pretty heartbreaking. So I'm not really so sure about the Grenada game as well because Grenada wasn't an easy fixture when we played them away. They were so physical, they were so dominant in the air, and though they never created those many chances, but they never also let us create any of the chances. So it's not going to be an easy fixture. And for the team news, we are not going to have Harry Maguire, we are not going to have Luke Shaw, and we are not going to have Scott McTominay. So three major players, three of your regular players are not going to be there in a game where you have to score first in order to secure your semi-final spot. So coming to you, Tanmay, what are your thoughts on this game, and how big of a responsibility now lies on the shoulders of Lindelof and Axel Tuanzebe, when we are going to face Granada, because Harry Maguire is not going to be there, Luke Shaw is not going to
Yeah,
be there, so Alex Telles is going to be the left back, and McTominay is not going to be there. So it has to be Matic, alongside Pogba or whoever plays in that midfield. So what are your thoughts on this?
see, normally it's not a done game, right? It's not a 4-0 or a 5-0 like Sociedad. So it's 2-0. Granada scoring first and pretty much like put us in trouble. But
Yeah,
the thing is, you just look at Granada and their obvious weaknesses. They have lost the last four of their last five games
absolutely.
in all competitions. They are not particularly good in possession,
Yeah,
nor do they have pace at the back. So the thing is, yeah, it's a dodgy scoreline, but I think considering the quality of teams, I think United should go through. It's basically one way of playing for Granada, and we'll get into that later. But if we just manage to cut that out and if we don't force ourselves enough on them, I think it's a tie to easily won already, but we can secure it with a goal or two. So I'm not really concerned about this one, despite it being a dodgy score.
so how confident are you, regarding Alex Tanzevi back in the matchday squad, and back in the team, because it's very certain that Axel is going to be the second centre back tomorrow, and Alex Telles is going
Yeah,
to be your left back for tomorrow against Granada. So how confident are you, with these two players back in the squad?
yeah. Actually, it's a nice break to see Axel finally, right? We always rated him
Absolutely,
on
man.
1 years at least. He's a quality lad. We have always wondered why he doesn't get more games. So it's
Absolutely.
it's going to be a fresh break, and the way he handled himself in Paris was a good enough ability show, and it's good to see him. Plus, and we are just saying that it will be a big miss, Luke Shaw, maybe Scott McTominay, but we have to remember that it's Alex Telles replacing him. It's not a young academic
Blessing, blessing.
kid or something.
You
So
you can expect a lot of
yeah,
crosses.
yeah, exactly. So it's established international players playing as deputies. So it won't be a big loss. Obviously, it will be a step down because they aren't playing regularly. But those are good enough players as a whole. So I don't think we should suffer any problems. And they are good enough deputies for a game just where we are 2-0 up at least. So
Absolutely. So Anandu, Solskjaer in his press conference confirmed that Daniel James is back in the squad, after suffering a minor injury, and Rashford, didn't train much before the Grenada game. So it could be Daniel James who could start ahead of Marcus Rashford. But let's not talk about Marcus Rashford. Let's talk about Mason Greenwood, Cavani, and Amad Diallo. Who should be the front three against Granada? Do you want to see Amad in the squad? Because we are already 2-0 up, and this could be the perfect game for Amad to be in the squad and get some first team experience in the Europe, especially because he was okay against AC Milan, but the way he scored, that header was world class. If you ask me, how would you rate Amad's performance against AC Milan? I'll give him 9 points out of 10 because of that single header. Because to come up, against a team like AC Milan and to score such a beautiful goal with your first touch in the
And it
game,
wasn't an easy header either. It
yeah,
was like really
it
hard
was a
like, to
proper
flick it
number
back
9
forward.
finish, and we have to remember
And
that
it's
that he,
Donnarumma, and it's like a very
Yeah.
good goalkeeper
yeah,
also, an AC Milan goalkeeper.
absolutely. So Anantu, what are your thoughts on the front three, and who should be the front three for tonight, for tomorrow's game against Granada?
Okay, if it is like literally up to me, I would play Ahmad on the right, and I would play Daniel on the left, and Cavani in the center. Uh, Daniel is kind of this thing because I don't know how good of how good or how better he is like back when he's back to training, how fit he is, to be honest, not better, how fit he is, to be honest. So I would swap him with Greenwood probably at halftime or 60 or 70 minutes. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
Now I'm gonna think realistically as to how Ole will play. Against Southampton, he bought a substitution so late when we were like at literally 6-7 goals ahead, and such a guy is never going to bring on Ahmad like when we are 2-0 up. I don't think he's going to do it.
yeah,
I think he's going to
absolutely,
play it safe. He's going to play Cavani, Greenwood, and if Rashford's injured, he's going to play Daniel James or Rashford's going to start, and Daniel is going to be sitting on the bench. So
absolutely,
that's what I think Ole is going to bring out tomorrow.
absolutely. Vignesh, we are 2-0 up. All right, we have just
Yeah.
won against Spurs. A very very good game, the best I have seen this season, to be very honest. Because the way we reacted in the second half was absolutely world class. It was like the team
Yeah.
who is winning the Champions League or the Premier League right now. That was the kind of performance that you expect from a champion. So when you are 2-0 up, you can do a bit more, experiments within the squad against a team who is not performing really well at the moment. And Bruno could be the one, who could be rested and who should be rested, because we'll be up against Leeds and Liverpool in the coming days in the Premier League, and especially Burnley.
Oh,
So very very physical
yeah,
teams.
yeah.
The way they press, and they'll literally target Bruno because they know if you can shut down Bruno, you can shut down Manchester United. So do you think this is the
And
right?
he's the one who's most reactive also. Like you
Yeah,
foul him, he'll come at you,
yeah,
like saying, "What is this guy? What is this guy doing?" and all.
yeah, absolutely. So do you think that this is the real opportunity that Donny van de Beek, should get, and he should be brought into the number 10 role? Because you have to consider all the facts. Matic is going to play tomorrow for sure because McTominay is not there, and with him, it's not going to be like you can put Fred alongside Matic. You have to put Pogba alongside Matic because Fred is not going to work with Matic, because you need to have one more creative player, because Matic will sit deep in order to help the centre backs, because Granada will push really high, because if you can score when you are lagging behind against your opponent at their home turf, then you can put a lot of pressure, especially against a team who are missing their main centre back, their main left back. So it's not going to be an easy game. You have to put Matic there, and then if you are not putting Pogba, alongside Matic, then you are creating a big problem for yourself. And when you put Donny and Pogba in the same team, then you can expect some magic, some tiki-taka football, because Donny is a wonderful player. When I talk in terms of creativity and in terms of picking those pocket of spaces, Donny is your perfect player. You can say that Bruno also does that, but when I talk about Donny, I talk about the Johan Cruyff football, the proper Ajax, Ajax football, and not just Ajax but also a bit of Barcelona kind of football. And the way that we played against Spurs in the second half clearly showed that we can play that way. It's not like it's out of our league. We can surely play that way, and Donny could be the one who can unlock those defenses, because when you play against a team that maintains a low block, you really need a player who can operate that way. So do you want Donny van de Beek to start off ahead of Bruno, because Bruno definitely needs some rest, though Bruno won't agree to this, but he definitely needs some rest. Yes, Vignesh.
So yeah, I would actually give Donny the chance because he has leads in Liverpool. Like they're like the top priority games of any, irrespective of the form they're in. I would be really sad if we lose to Leeds and Liverpool. Like these are those are like these kind of high voltage games where you have to win. Otherwise, it's like the bragging rights are not there. So when you compare it to Granada, obviously, I mean the priority will be over Leeds and Liverpool. So yeah, I would actually give Donny the game time because he is the future. Like it or not, he is the future of our club.
Absolutely,
And
man.
I mean, he's and look at him, he's so young. He's got like so many years of football left in him. So he's
22.
already an
The
amazing
guy
player.
is
It's just
literally
like we saw
22, man.
like when so yeah, and I do remember like the way had that when Ajax had their wonderful season. I saw the guy play and I fell in love with him, and I was more than happy, when he came over to our club, and he deserves it. By all means, he deserves it. But Bruno can take a rest. I mean, I know like what Tanmay said. It might be a dodgy scoreline like 2-0, but I mean, Donny, it's not like it's not like we are deputizing him with someone bad. Donny is a world class player in his own right. So yeah, he deserves it. He deserves the chance.
Absolutely. Tanmay, when we played Granada last time, we were absolutely bullied by their physical presence. I mean, they were all over us, to be very honest. If you can ignore the long ball from Lindelof or the penalty at the dying minutes of the game, it was a pretty 50-50 game because we were not at our very best. And if we would have been up against any of the Premier League side, the scoreline could have been a whole lot different because the spaces that we left while pushing forward and trying to create chances, we were totally exposed. But it was the, what I can say, lack of maturity from the players of Granada, or lack of game reading from their part. Because if we would have been up against Leeds, or say Liverpool, or say Man City, or even any other side in the Premier League, considering West Brom as well, given the form that they are in, the scoreline could have been a whole lot different. And tomorrow they'll try even more harder. Because they are already 2-0 down. They have nothing to lose, to be very honest, and they'll give their everything tomorrow night. So how important it is for us to maintain the defensive shape throughout the 90 minutes, and not let them create any sort of pressure on us. Because you don't have Harry Maguire tomorrow night, you don't have Luke Shaw, you might not have Bruno as well. Because it is one of those games where you can actually rest Bruno, and you could be without Rashford. So five major players could be missing from your matchday squad, and this could be a very very big problem for you. So how would you set your team in accordance, so that we might not face any sort of trouble going into this game?
Okay, the thing is, I was looking up Granada for some information. The thing is, the stats also show they're pretty damn poor when they have the ball.
Yeah.
Also, they have a lack of pace in almost every
Yeah.
department. They have an aging striker, and I think they just don't know what to do with the ball anymore. I think I'd like to propose a counter argument saying that I don't think so we would have played like that against anybody like a Tottenham or a Brighton.
Yeah.
I think we played like that because we were aware of the deficiencies they possessed during, like,
Absolutely.
we may afford to just go that extra step further attacking because we know how deficient they are with the ball.
Absolutely.
Maybe that might be it, that we knew what their weaknesses were, so maybe we were that bit relaxed.
Absolutely.
But yeah, any other team that could have cost you. And yeah, major players missing, major players getting a rest. I think yeah, it could be dodgy if they score first, but I still expect relative ease. So I think we have the squad depth enough for us to put out a good lineup, and we can rest players even after bringing them maybe a bit early or removing them around the 60th minute mark. So I think it's pretty set up for us to win, and I honestly don't expect any collapses.
Hopefully we don't collapse under pressure, because this has been the
Yeah,
story for us so far this season. Every time we were presented with an opportunity to head into the
yeah,
finals, or say semi-finals, we bottled it up. And not just
yeah,
this season, but if we consider the last four or five semi-finals that we have been part of. So
yeah.
I mean, Maguire is not there. Bruno Fernandes and David De Gea could be the obvious choices, to take the armband, to lead United for the Granada game, and if you consider the fact that De Gea was, De Gea wasn't being presented the opportunity to captain Manchester United in the absence of Harry Maguire when we played PSG, when we played Leipzig as well. So, are you expecting any different, against Granada if say Bruno Fernandes is part of the team and David De Gea for sure is going to be part of the team? Who would be your captain for tomorrow night, Anandu?
Bruno, if Bruno is playing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. But the reason?
Yeah, if Bruno is playing, it has to be Bruno. I mean, none of us want Maguire as a captain. Everyone wants Bruno as the
No,
captain.
I won't say this. To be very honest, I won't say this. Anandu.
That's his affection.
Because I'm not going to say that we don't want Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire has done a lot of work behind the scene. If you talk in terms of building the team chemistry, if you talk in terms of bringing everyone under one roof and trying to create a healthy atmosphere, I think Harry Maguire has done a great job alongside Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
See, I won't say he hasn't done like a good job as a captain.
Yeah.
But I would still prefer Bruno over him.
Yeah.
Because, see, as a fan, what happens in the dressing room, right? I actually don't know what happens in the dressing room. So I can't sit here commenting about that.
Yeah.
Right. But what I see is what I see on the pitch. And as a fan, that's what I care about. The passion he shows on the pitch and the way he is vocal on the pitch is something I'm like, okay, you know what? Nice. See, it's in the case of any football club, okay, let's say Real Madrid or any top football clubs, within the dressing room you have multiple leaders. It's not just one person who's the captain who's leading. No, there are multiple leaders. And Harry Maguire can be a second choice captain. Getting my point? But what matters, why you're wearing the armband on the pitch is because he needs someone to lead the team on the pitch.
Yeah.
And to me, throughout the season also, I think maybe it's because of the incident in Greece why Maguire is a little bit shy nowadays.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, but he's becoming a little more bold. Like I've seen him fight against the referees. I'm really happy. Like the last time I saw that was against when Keane was there, and that's the kind of passion I want in my captain. Someone like Roy Keane who goes at the referee and be like, "Why is that a foul? If it's not supposed to be, well, go scream at his face. Get a yellow, that's fine." But I would still like that kind of passion from my captain.
But Anandu, I'll say this, that football is a completely different game now, because what we used to see back in 2005, it's absolutely changed. It has absolutely changed. If you're the foul that we got against or we faced against Spurs and our goal was overturned, I mean, if it would have been in 2005, that goal would have stood. So I'm not going to say that I want Roy Keane sort of personality. I definitely want in the dressing room, but your most vocal player should it's not necessary that your most vocal player or your most energetic player has to be your captain. It's simply not. If you look at Ronaldo was never been presented with an opportunity at Real Madrid to captain Real Madrid. It was Sergio Ramos after Casillas left the club. Or say Juventus as well. He is the most dynamic player in that Juventus team, but he was never presented with an opportunity to lead the team. If you talk about Manchester United of old days, we had Rio Ferdinand, we had Nemanja Vidic, we had Patrice Evra, we had Ryan Giggs, we had Paul Scholes. Yes, I completely agree that we don't have these many leaders at the moment, but to to overshadow what Maguire has done at this club wouldn't be the right decision, to be very honest. And yes, I love Bruno.
See, that's my point. I'm never going to overshadow what he's done.
Yeah.
And when like people go against him as being the captain, and when people scream at him, like I've seen in a lot of groups, people talk about how he's not good enough, and I still support my captain because in the end of the day, he's my captain, dude. He's my team's captain. I'm going to support him, right? But then what I see, like I said, as a fan, I would see what's on the pitch and I would judge him on that. Even I've given points like how. In the dressing room, maybe he's more vocal. Maybe he comes back at halftime. He helps the team come back out of the pitch stronger. We don't know what happens in the dressing room, especially since Man United, all through the generations, we never know what happens in the dressing room. It's always like mum about it. Now players are coming out saying Alex Ferguson said something like this when a few years back. So now after they retired, because I'm pretty sure they were scared to tell anything at that point of time.
Absolutely.
So, I'm never going to overshadow what Maguire's done for the club.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Vignesh,
so I'm never going to overshadow that, but for me, Bruno as a captain is what I would pick.
Absolutely, man. And I would love to have Bruno as our captain because he is vocal. He represents the right spirit of Manchester United. That's what you expect from your captain because you need a person who can take the responsibility, who can fight for his players, and who could actually inspire the rest of the players within the squad. So Bruno has all
Exactly,
the
and
qualities, but
that's what that's that one thing that you said that inspires the teammate, right?
yeah,
Like Bruno puts in his effort, he puts in week in week out, he's giving his 100%.
absolutely.
Maguire is having some days he's getting an off day.
But
Nowadays he's
bro,
playing well,
but
but
you
some
have
days
to
are
admit,
off.
sorry to cut you, Anandu, but you have to admit that post that UCL elimination, Maguire has been flawless. I have to say this,
Yeah,
Maguire
I'm not
has
going to say
been
he's not,
flawless.
but then he does have his off days as well.
I mean, I haven't
That's the
seen
thing.
much this season. Apart from the start of the season, if you can ignore the 4 or 5 games that we played at the start of the season, Maguire has actually took the responsibility and has led the team in the right way. He has led the team in the what I can say in the leader's manner because he is carrying the ball forward. He is defending well. He's winning every set piece. He's winning every header, and it's the over
He does
dependency
what
that I
Fred
feel.
is supposed to do, pass the ball forward. He takes the ball, goes all the way till the end of their penalty
But
box.
you also need to have a player, bro. I mean, Anantu, I would disagree to your point, on this one because we really don't have a ball playing centre back. We never had a ball playing centre back since Rio left the club, and Rio was also not that good, in terms of carrying the ball forward. But when I talk about Harry Maguire, he is that one player who is so confident when we give the ball to him. He can roll past players, he can take the ball forward, and he can also shoot well. Yes, his shooting accuracy is not that perfect, but when I talk in terms of a centre back shooting the ball, he is really good at it. And I don't understand why people don't rate Maguire so highly in terms of ball playing because people usually bring this topic into consideration that Virgil van Dijk is an absolute monster in placing those long balls over the top and creating chances for their forwards. Harry Maguire has been doing the same thing for us, this season. But it's the mistake of our forwards that they are not converting those chances, or say that the what I can say the
And also
immaturity.
over Maguire, Lindelof does play a lot of high balls and he gets them accurate. Maguire is not the player who's going to bring the ball 30, 40,
But
50 yards
Maguire,
across the pitch and give it to you accurately.
but
But
Anandu,
he does play the ball forward a
in
lot.
terms,
Like I've noticed, attacking wise, he's
yeah,
very good. Like for me, my only problem people have with Maguire is he doesn't have pace. Put a pacey centre back like Bailly next to him, he's going to perform.
I won't say buy. I literally won't say buy because
I won't say buy. I'm just saying
because
Bailly because see the way Bailly plays is nice. He's like a nonsense centre back.
no nonsense
Like, he's
defender.
not going to
Absolutely,
let you through. He's going to put you down, and if he probably ends up with a yellow or a red, but he's going to put you down and probably get injured himself also. But I don't
absolutely,
want that part.
absolutely.
But then I just believe, like, see, the thing about Lindelof and Maguire, right, as a partnership is they both are very similar. Both can play the ball forward. Okay, both can go on and attack in this thing. And if you look at most teams, we don't have similar centre backs together. You don't have two ball playing defenders playing for you because you don't need that. You just need one, and you have two CDMs.
I won't say this.
We play with two
I mean,
CDMs.
I won't say that we really don't need two ball playing centre backs because the way we operate, we build up from the back, and definitely we would want to have two ball playing centre back at some point because you can always lose the possession in key
No,
areas
no,
if you are.
not if you have two center defensive midfielders who are supposed to play the ball from defense to forward. They are
Do we
supposed to do
really
a transition.
do we really
Because
use
right now, as of
do
now,
we
we
do
have
we
been two
really
holding
use
midfielders, right?
those two holding midfielders well, or are holding midfielders,
No,
let's
they
say
don't play
McFred?
well, which is why Maguire and Lindelof are shining like when going forward.
Yeah.
Because over Fred and McTominay, you trust Maguire or Lindelof to bring the ball forward, right?
Absolutely.
Because I do.
Absolutely.
I don't expect Fred to pass the ball forward. If he does it like well and good, and like against Tottenham, second half,
Monster.
he played ball forward, and you know
Monster.
how well we played.
He
played
was a
one-touch
monster.
football. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, dude, just do that like 90 minutes. Why you're giving me Foucault's attention, bro, for 45 minutes?
Absolutely.
Just do
So
that for
Vignesh,
90 minutes. I'm happy.
Vignesh, coming to you, the the media is crying that we need a centre back, this and that. I mean, look at how well Lindelof and Maguire have settled at the club, and now you have Axel Tuanzebe, who is really exciting player. I love that guy. That guy has pace. That guy has immense physicality, and is a very versatile player. You can play him on the right, you can play him on the left, you can play him in the midfield as well, and he's pretty comfortable in playing all of these positions. So, given the fact that Axel Tuanzebe is going to play for us tomorrow, how excited are you to watch him back in action? Because he was a completely different player when we played against PSG. I mean, he was the real deal, to be very honest. Because in absence of Harry Maguire, I was so worried
Look at
that,
Neymar and Mbappe, like
yeah, I mean, in absence of Harry Maguire, I was literally very worried about our centre back situation. But he took the responsibility on his shoulders. He overshadowed Lindelof, to be very honest, and he overshadowed every player that night. You know, say Mbappe, Neymar, and everyone that was there in the PSG squad. So, given the fact that Granada is not that, that a good team, and Axel is a pretty much better defender than the rest of the Granada players. So, do you really think that this could be the game that can change fortune for Axel Tuanzebe, and he could play more games in Europa, in the coming weeks? Because it would be Roma or Ajax. Hopefully, it will be Roma, because they are already up on aggregate. Also, I don't know the scoreline, to be very honest, and I'm sorry for that. But but let's talk about Axel now.
so yeah. Look, if whenever any youth player comes through, I'm more happy because instead of spending like millions of bucks on a outfield player, there are the pride in which you can say
Which
like,
we never do, huh? We never.
yeah, like so yeah, like I mean, like always through history and all, like of our youth is always in our DNA.
Yeah.
Like whenever you see, like you've got the class of '92, then you've got all of them. Like all of them came through like the system, right? So even in the modern time also, we've got like Greenwood, Rashi. The list goes on and on. So when a youth player, especially with the caliber of Axel, when he comes and when he plays, I mean, it gives me nothing but immense pride.
Absolutely.
So it's like so instead of someone saying like, oh, we spent this much on this guy, the pride of saying, yeah, he's Mancunian, he's from Rochdale, so that is in Manchester. So he's one of us. Literally, you can say the guy is one of us. Migrated from Congo, and he came here. He came to Manchester, played, and he captained them.
At every level. Not,
he was a captain. He played with Rashi and all. So
yeah.
it's a really good a good thing for us. Like when somebody of our youth comes forward and makes the step out. So yeah, I'm really excited if he gets to play more, and I really want him to play more. Thing is, like, people accuse him of that. I remember in the Everton draw, we had many people accuse him of it was his fault. He makes mistakes, but the truth is, he's still developing. He still needs more game time. He still needs more time to develop. So yeah, like the more time he gets, the more experience he becomes. And yeah,
The thing about Everton, I just wanted to ask you: is it a player's fault for coming in so late? Okay, the manager makes such a substitution, and do you think it's a player's fault for not being up to fit? Because it takes 5 minutes for the player to get warmed up, right? To get into the game. He comes in so late, and then he has one small error, and then over that, like, a lot of the fan base started backlash.
I'm absolutely not going to criticize.
Very reactionary. The typical Man United fan base is very reactionary. Like, one guy makes a small mistake, kill him, finish, sell him off, khalas. That's what they say, and that is not what the mentality is. Like,
modern day fans are like this,
I've
Vignesh.
seen-
Modern day fans are like this.
Like, I've seen like Liverpool fans, like when we all know Trent is nowhere good up to levels this season. The way they still defend him, like, no, he's Scouser, no. That is what that's what the fan base we should be striving for. One
No,
guy
actually,
makes one small mistake, they keep calling for his
we
head.
are actually looking at the selective fan base. You have to look into
Yeah, not
into the situation much deeper,
not
because
all of them.
the
Like,
amount of
yeah.
abuses their players are getting at the moment. That is why Klopp has to come out and defend their players, because it has become a habit, not just about Manchester United, but
Yeah,
it
pretty
has
much every
become a
big club,
habit.
especially where expectations are high. Like, any major club you see.
Bro, I
like
mean,
this.
Vignesh, I'm not going to name expectations here, because expectation should not be the right word. Because expectations never tell you to abuse a player, never tell you to bring any of your own down. Because if he's not performing well, that's all right. No one can perform, up to the standards of what you expect from them.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
no player holds the same quality. And stop comparing your present players from your past players, because that
Yeah,
was a different breed.
That's also there.
That was
The
completely
times were
different breed.
Times were very different
Yeah.
back then. Like now,
I mean,
the football also gone very soft. Like
not
one
just
small
football,
push, one
Vignesh,
small thing,
not
guy
just
gets
football. You have to
started.
also compare the quality, the quality that we had and the quality that our opponents had during those times. It was completely different. It was all Man United that time. We wanted a player. If let's say West Ham is having one of their better players, we went for Carrick, from Spurs. We went for Berbatov from Spurs. Now, now if we try signing anyone from Spurs or let's say West Ham, they won't let us have that player because it's all money game right now. And if you want that player, pay 100 million, and that is not affordable for us right now because the
And if
market
the
is so
person is
inflated.
British, there's more. If the player is a British player, you end up paying more.
Yeah. So I think this is totally nonsense the way our fan base compares. And Tanmay, coming to you, as Anantu said and as Vignesh said, that it's always nice to see our youth team players getting more chances. And tomorrow, two of our academy players are included in the matchday squad, and Fish and Alegna. So how proud you are, seeing those kids in the Europa squad, and getting, if they are not getting any minutes though, but they are still getting the experience to be with the first team squad and to be in a European competition, not the first tier competition obviously, but it means a lot, to be very honest.
Yeah, see, it's always great, right? We have heard the stories from Sir Alex's ex-players, the young players at the time, that even though you don't play, you are just in that whole aura of the first team, traveling to a European away game. How to get it? Possibly the first leg is won, the first leg is lost. Now, how to overcome it? Just that team huddle, that traveling with the first team, especially to European tides, it's a big deal, right? And
Absolutely.
you half the things you learn are more about that rather than what you do on the pitch, because what you do on the pitch is in the spur of the moment. You learn a great deal from it. And again, Anthony Ilanga, Will Fish, it's great that they're traveling. Maybe the Maguire suspension was a blessing in disguise for somebody like a Will Fish who just is with the squad. Maybe not play, but he's still there, right? Like he is in the squad. He may be the designated bench option. So
Absolutely.
that's always a great thing, because half the stuff you do, half the stuff you learn are always the basically all the great stories come from, yeah, once I was traveling with the first team
Yeah,
and such and such incident occurred,
and
and
that
that taught
changed
me
my
a whole
mind.
big. Yeah, exactly. So it's always a great thing, and it's we have that tradition, and just that continuing just shows that it's not a fluke. That's what we are built on. That's our
Absolutely.
dynasty, and it's always a
Youth,
great
courage,
thing.
success, that's what Manchester United is all about.
Yeah, yeah,
So
The
that's
point
right.
Tanmay,
Tanvi brought across, not a lot of people think about that.
yeah,
People all just want to see what's on the pitch. Nobody actually thinks about what happens in the back.
absolutely.
That's
Exactly.
there. Behind
Like
the
he said,
scenes
it's a
is,
big influence for a young player to grow up. When he travels with the first team
You
itself,
know,
that
just
influence
being
is there.
among Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, David De Gea, all
Exactly.
these players who have been part of this great club for so long. Not Bruno Fernandes obviously, but he has been part of that Portugal team, and he has played alongside Ronaldo. Paul Pogba, World Cup winning player, David De Gea, the one of the few players who won the Premier League with Manchester United when we last won the Premier League. With Sir Alex. So it's a very very big thing. Now coming to you, Tanmay, let's talk about tomorrow's team sheet. What is going to be your playing 11 for tomorrow night? Because it has to be a bit interesting. It has to be, there needs to be some changes, because this is the perfect game for you. You can try something. You
Yeah,
can, try a bit another combination. Let's say Donny
yeah,
alongside Pogba or Matic, or let's say Fred and Pogba alongside Donny. So you could operate in a
yeah,
different way, and you can also hand Ahmad a full time debut.
yeah,
So what is
yeah,
going
yeah.
to be your playing 11?
Yeah, so I'll start David De Gea, an experienced captain option. He'll be back for Europa, and I guess he'll play the remaining campaign. So David De Gea in net. The only available two centre backs will be Lindelof and Tuanzebe. Hopefully it's not Phil Jones or Will Fish. Alex Telles, great option, great backup.
Yeah,
Alex Telles will return at left back.
who was
So
destined to
that's a
start
good
ahead
thing.
of Luke Shaw.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. But yeah, he returns, he'll get game time, it will be good. So Alex Telles again experience. I would normally play Brandon Williams at right back, but I think when you have a different centre back pair, again a change in keeper, a different left back, I wouldn't think that
Risk
he'll
too
also
much.
replace the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be too much where defending is our main priority. So I'll still play Wan Bissaka. He deserves a rest, but it is what it is. In midfield, I expect Mattis to be back because he was the most rested. He's a CDM. He's a ball playing CDM.
Yeah.
I expect him to play. If not, you're where will he? So Matic returns. I'll honestly play Pogba with him. There are concerns that people are saying don't play Pogba. He's on a yellow. If he
But
gets
why
one
not?
more yellow, he'll miss
Why
the
not?
yeah, he missed the first leg of the semi-final. So yeah, that's a hanging sword. But I think it's better if he gets it out of the way right now rather than any time in the future. So
Yeah.
I'll still play Pogba. He needs game day,
Mourinho tactics.
not in between. So yeah, it will be Matic and Pogba for me. Normally I would say Donny, but I think Bruno Fernandes will play. I think he will rest Bruno, but in a way that he'll bring him off pretty early this time.
Yeah.
Like how Telles replaced Luke Shaw in the first leg at Granada at
Yeah.
half time. So it will be something like that. Bruno will captain the team, I think. He will come off around the 50th, 68th minute. And that way he'll be rested, I think. So my prediction will be Bruno in front of Pogba and Matic. I'll play Ahmad. Now there's where rotation comes in. I'll play
I'm
Ahmad.
impressed. I'm
It's just
impressed.
that I hope that they don't break his ankles. That's the whole thing. But yeah, it will be exciting.
Or say Ahmad
We
breaking
just-
ankles.
No. Yeah, I hope it's the other way around and not them breaking Ahmad's ankles.
Yeah.
Because they are basically cheap MMA fighters according to me. So it's gonna be great. So I think Ahmad will be the rotation for me. Ahmad will come in. I expect Mason to lead the line. It's okay to give Cavani the occasional break in between.
Yeah.
And I think he needs it. He doesn't need overworking. So Ahmad, Mason, and on the left I'll say Dan James because Marcus Rashford didn't train today. And I don't expect him to be needed. And if needed, he can be on the bench. So
Yeah.
I expect the front
Give
line
him
to be
the
James
last
Green.
25 minutes or so, and give him
Yeah,
much, a bit of game time ahead of Burnley.
yeah. That will be my front three: James, Greenwood, and Ahmad.
All right. So coming to you, Vignesh, Tanmay made some great points there. What is going to be your playing 11, and what are the reasons you are picking this team? So let's start.
Well, goalkeeper again, I'd start with De Gea because he needs time. Like it or not, we need him to play also. He's our keeper at the end. So I'll give the goalkeeping duties to De Gea. Then, right back. Yeah. Okay. So in the right back, I'll give it to Wan Bissaka. Then since our first choice defenders are not there, Lindelof and Tuanzebe. Then on the left again, Telles, as Tanmay said. Then in the mid, I'll again give Mattis the chance because obviously with McTominay not there, he is the obvious choice. Then Fred, no, I still have doubts. I'm not going to give Fred this time. I'll make Pogba come again. Like even though in spite of if he's on the yellow, he is still quality, and I'd rather have quality than having someone unpredictable.
Not
Like you never
still,
know who's
not
going to do
still,
what.
Vignesh. He is the quality.
He is. I mean, he did score that goal after 2 years. So Fred is Fred. When you need him, he will score. So yeah, Pogba, then Matic, Pogba, then I'll give it to Matic, Pogba, then Bruno again. I would rather give again like what Tanmay said. Bruno should have some game time around like 50, 60ish. Maybe make an impact. Then maybe in the last 30 minutes he can take the rest, and he'll again be captaining again if I was the choice again. Then I'll again give I'll again give the debut to Ahmad again as usual, the full 90 minutes. Hopefully if he plays, and then Greenwood again to lead the attack. And if Rashford, if he can play, okay, good. But if he cannot and if he's not team
Won't be a
fit, I'll give
sensible,
it to Daniel James.
won't be a very sensible decision, to be very honest, to start Rashford in such a game where you can actually play your second player, second left winger, because risking Rashford would mean that he could miss
Yeah,
the
if he's
semi-final.
fit
He
and
could
if
miss
if
the
it's
games
risking him,
against.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, if it's okay, if he's fit enough, I would rather have the quality up. You can like Rashford is more liable than James to get the goals in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he requires rest, I mean, I wouldn't want to risk him for just one game. Rather, we have the whole season ahead. We have got like the last half is there. Top, like we need
And
to still guarantee our
and
our
Premier
top
League
two place. And if City
and
mess up,
Premier
I'm not
League
jinxing it,
title
but
could,
I hope.
Premier League title could be up for the grab. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. If
You never know.
exactly. If the onus is on City, and if they mess up, they robbed us in 2012. We can do it now. I mean, there's no problem. Karma has there is no time.
Just
There's
just
no
one bad game and
expiration
Man
date for
City
karma,
could be
right?
on their way down. Just one bad game, because it will be a very pressure situation. But all Man United have to do is win their remaining 7 games. Don't care about what
Yeah,
City is doing
we
at the
need to win.
moment.
No excuses.
Don't look.
We need to win, no
Yeah,
matter what.
don't look.
There is no place for any mess ups. There is
Yeah,
no place.
don't just look into their results. Just perform the way you are
Yeah,
performing.
we do our part. Then if
Let's leave everything else on the
we are
destiny.
lucky, we'll get it. That is the whole point.
Yeah, absolutely. So Anandu,
Yes,
coming
ma'am?
to you, what is going to be your playing 11, and who could be the player of the game for according to you? I mean, who could be that one player who can actually change the game on its head tomorrow night?
Okay, so first thing is I'll change the formation itself. I'll play a diamond in the midfield because I think that's where the game is going to be for us tomorrow.
Impressive.
And the defense and the goalkeeper is going to be pretty much what Tamme and Vignesh said. Okay, I'll have the same defense, but I'll play Fred. I won't play Matic. I'll play Fred. Okay, because he's good at side passing, so just stay there. I'll play Van de Beek. I'll play Pogba, and I'll play Bruno, and I'll
So,
play Cavani and Greenwood.
all right. I am a bit confused because Granada is a very physical team, and not just that, they are a team that will press pretty badly, and we all know how easily Pogba crumbles under pressure. When 2 or 3 players presses him,
But
or say
the reason, see, I'll tell you, like, the reason I would pick this team is because you've seen Pogba and Martial, right? Those one-touch passes they play, 1, 2, 3, those kind of passes. Imagine Bruno, Van de Beek, and Pogba playing that in midfield.
but who is going to
Even
hold the
if you
ball?
press, if you're
But who is going to
sorry,
hold that midfield, Anandu?
see, that's the thing. Now, that's the thing that I am kind of actually worried about. That's
No,
why I
so
would play Fred over Matic.
you have to consider
That's why I
everything,
would play Fred over Matic.
before you set up your team.
No, the thing is, if you are playing Tuanzebe, we have pace at the back. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to be like he's going to be solid. Okay, and I'm playing Fred over there because we get that extra pace, we get that stamina over there. Someone like Kante who runs around the pitch, anyways. And I will play Van de Beek, Pogba, and Bruno because of that one-touch passing. They can create opportunities for the strikers. You saw against Tottenham, Cavani got the chances. He got 2 chances, he scored. Even though one didn't stand, he still converted his 2 chances that were created for him. And Granada is the kind of team where I think midfield is going to be where they're going to be playing. They're going to be pressing hard. And we can't have this one, we take 2 touches on the ball and then we pass. We can't have that. And that's the only reason why I would play midfield, diamond. And also because then I want to rest
But,
Rashford, and it's not a game for Daniel.
Anandu, I would also
This is
go
not a
with the
game where
diamond.
Daniel can just kick the ball and run. I don't think it's his sort of game. I won't play him. He'll be absolutely poor.
I would also go with the diamond, but I won't put Fred in that midfield because, first of all, Fred is not the kind of defender, not the kind of midfielder you would want to have in a game, where the opponent team plays a low block, also has so much physical players. Even their forwards are so physical, let alone their midfielders or say defenders. Even their forwards are so physical. Now, when
Physical,
you
yeah.
put Fred in that midfield, you are inviting an extra pressure on yourself because the guy usually loses possession in key areas, and then you don't have the experience of Matic or say Harry Maguire to to handle that situation well. Now, when you say that you are going to put Pogba, Donny van de Beek and Bruno in that midfield alongside Fred, you are playing with 3 box-to-box players. Let's say that Bruno is playing in the number 10 role, in a makeshift number 10 role, because he usually likes to go forward and likes
See,
to
even
break the
though
shape.
Donny is not a box to box, is he?
Donny
He
is actually
plays
box
like
to box.
at the enemy.
Donny,
He plays. Even though he's given under hacks, I've noticed like he plays. I'll tell you like the opponent or offside line is there, right? He plays there
he
along with the
played as a
striker like a
second
false
striker.
nine.
Yes, I agree. He
Yeah, he
played
plays
as a
a second
second striker.
striker.
But if you look at his traits, if you look at how he
Yeah, if
He
it's straight, yeah.
operates. He's more of a box-to-box player rather than being a second striker.
Later.
I think Tanmay would agree to this because Tanmay has followed Ajax a lot. And when you put Fred in that midfield, you are putting three box-to-box players and a number 10 player. So who is going to hold the ball for you? Who is going to drop deep and help your centre backs in that situation where when your full backs are going to push high, because Alex Telles likes to push high, likes to play with the ball, likes to connect with your forwards. Now talking about Van Bissaka, though he's not good at creating chances, but he likes to go forward. He usually likes to go forward. It's not like he likes to sit deep and likes to defend well, but he likes to leave the spaces at the back, and that's why we have conceded so many goals on the crosses and
True,
on
but
set pieces.
Matic if it was last season, I would pick Matic because he was excellent for us last season. But this season, even he's been poor. Like if you take
I know.
McTominay, Fred, or Matic, none of them are actually kind of trustworthy enough to hold that midfield for us, are they?
I mean,
Which is why we all want a holding
I
midfielder.
mean, I don't remember, exactly. I don't remember the game where Matic has been pretty bad. If I'm wrong, you can name some of the games because I clearly don't remember the last game he was bad at because the number of games that he has played this season, he has been pretty solid. He has
It's
played
very
very few
less.
games.
He didn't
Very
get
minimal.
chances because
Yeah,
of
he
the
didn't get-
mistakes he
yeah.
made in
Yeah.
the starting. Like in the starting, he was not good enough. Ole dropped him and they never picked him again. Same like Tuanzebe. Champions League, he had a great night against PSG. Next Champions League game he comes in, he has a bad game. Ole is like, no, you're never going to play again.
Yeah.
So it's
Also,
the same
thing is,
situation for Matic.
Yes, Tanmay.
coming in, I really like Anantu's team. But the thing is, I would just do the Fred for Matic swap if you want
Exactly.
that midfield to work. I
Exactly.
know
Yeah, me too.
Fred doing it for the engine room kind of thing. But the thing is, Matic is always assured, right, with the ball. So sometimes,
true.
yeah, though
The
he
thing is, you expect Matic to get out of a tough situation in the end of the day.
Perfect.
That's the fact.
and you have
Fred
Tuanzebe
doesn't. When
backing,
Fred gets a
and you
ball,
have
we all
Tuanzebe
panic.
behind.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Tanmay.
Yeah.
He and you also have Tuanzebe behind him to cover for Matic's space. So
Yeah.
I would just go for the composure if he wants to play that midfield. If he can sacrifice one of Donny or Bruno, then yeah, Fred can work. But if he is playing that ambitious midfield, I would just go for some composure behind him because pace won't be an issue because they are really bad. They are really bad. I just looked at them, so they would be able to exploit, and we have Tuanzebe for
See,
it.
that's why I'm not worried about counter attacks a lot, which is why I would play Fred because he's that workhorse for us. The thing is, I am actually conflicted. Should Matic play, who will be someone who's going to give us composure, or
Yeah.
someone who's a workhorse for it? Because we are not going to have a threat on the counter. Because I honestly
Yeah,
don't believe we'll have a problem
yeah,
on
the
the
thing-
counter.
Donny, Bruno, and Pogba. It's just too exciting for me to not have some composure behind him.
See, the thing is, I
Absolutely.
stated the team, but I not if it like in 1%, I believe that Ole is ever going to play that team, though. I don't think
you don't
any,
know.
like under any
He's very
circumstances.
unpredictable. You may think of he may take X, but he'll take Y. Sometimes he'll put Z. He'll make a different one altogether, and he'll put something else. He'll blow your mind.
But Ole stopped using the diamond since like it failed once.
Against Man
Because we
City.
played well
Since
against
the
you.
day we crumbled against Man City in the EFL Cup, we never actually played with the diamond shape again.
Diamond. And I think this is like an opportunity he can use it. Because in the end of the day, if things are not going according to plan, half time bring up Claret, go back to your 4-2-3-1.
Absolutely.
Also, I'd
You
like
can
to
bring
point
it back
out
to
that
the shape.
all of us are gonna be wrong because Phil Jones will start tomorrow.
You
And
know, I
imagine
don't
if he
have any
plays well.
problem,
Imagine
watching Phil Jones back in the squad
coming in and being
because
like,
the guy is good, is decent. It's not like he cannot play for Man United. Yes, under present scenario he cannot because the quality has up, and we definitely need improvement in the squad and not average players in the squad. We can offload him in the summer, and we should, because by doing that we'll be freeing 75k per week wages, and that would help us a lot, if we are trying to sign players for the future. And by doing that, you will be presenting Phil Jones with an opportunity to go at some club, play his regular football, because at Man
West
United
Ham.
he's not going to get enough playing time. But let's keep this topic for the next time. Let's talk about the scoreline for tomorrow night. Let's talk about the predictions. I'll start with you, Tanmay. What scoreline are you predicting? And pick your man of the match. Pick your man of the match before the start of the game.
Okay, I'll go with the 2-0 to United, obviously. Uh, I think that the way they play will just play into our hands. They are pretty crap on the ball, so they'll still try to take the ball, work more, and then if we have James, Rashford, run, Ahmad, Greenwood running away, we will score goals. I expect at least a couple. I don't think it will be. Yeah, I actually think it will be a boring game, but somehow again will emerge as 2-0 winners.
What else you
And
expect
my
from
man of the
Europa Nights?
match, yeah. My man of the match would be World Cup winner Paul Pogba dominating Grenada at home.
Absolutely. That's great. That's great. So Vignesh, what about you? What is going to be your prediction, and who is going to be your man of the match?
Well, I'm kind of conflicted because I do remember in our last season's Europa tie,
Yeah.
we were 5-0 up against Lask in the first leg. And in the second leg, what we saw was a very nice Park the Bus performance. Nil-nil literally it was. It was such a boring match. So, like inside me, like I
At
really
our
hope
home.
nothing of
At
that
our home.
pans out. Like I really don't want the tension. Like simply by parking the bus literally when we could score. So in my mind, that fear is still there. That I don't want that to happen. But if I was the fate, if I had fate in my hands, I would again go 2-0 to us. And my man of the match, it's a tough call. I mean, it's either Bruno or Pogba. One of them stepping up to the role.
Let's not
Oh, I
include
thought it
Bruno.
was Phil Jones.
Let's not include Bruno in this because Bruno has to be rested.
Okay, then again, okay, if Bruno is not playing, then yeah, it's Pogba. Or if Donny plays, I'm sure he is man of the match material too. His composure
I like
is also
this
what
one.
may
I like this
win the game
prediction.
for us.
I like this prediction.
So,
So, what about you, Anandu?
2-0, same. I'm going for 2-0
Fucking
because I
It's
think
like
we're going to be
2-0
boring
FC.
for like pretty much. I think we're going to be boring for the pretty much like 45 minutes, and then we're going to come back and score 2 goals something. And if I'm talking about man of the match, if Cavani plays, I'm rooting for Cavani because I think he could be like that. Maybe make that one run that takes the defense off or something.
10
I'm
goals this
expecting that
season would be perfect, from a number 9 who hasn't been part of the team regularly.
And the thing is, like, the reason I want Cavani
number
to
7
switch is so
jinx he
bad.
had, he's broken it.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
love
that.
him for that.
Reason the reason I want him to like perform better coming days is because he wears the number 7 shirt. It's not because he's Edison Cavani.
He's
and
actually doing his work pretty well, before he handle over the number 7 jersey to Jadon Sancho, which is written in the stars. You can say this, that Jadon Sancho is
Man
coming
United
to
and Jadon
United.
Sancho love story better than Twilight.
Definitely.
You guys have made your predictions. Now, I'm expecting a 3-0 victory, and I'm expecting a free kick from Alex Telles. I am, so
that is the dream.
hopeful.
I've seen him score for Porto.
Bro,
like
that
I really
guy
wish he
is
can
an
score one for
absolute.
us.
That
Right.
guy is an absolute beast when it comes to taking set pieces. He hasn't got the opportunity to take those many free kicks this season, because we all know if we are getting the free kick, either Bruno taking the free kick or Rashford is taking the free kick. But
How many people actually rate Rashford for taking a free kick?
I don't.
I mean, I do
don't.
remember him playing really well. Like that one kick against Chelsea, yes.
Yeah.
But
I
bro,
think
if Telles is on the pitch, you should literally just
man.
move aside because
Yes, Tanmay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
If you read the articles around the club, it's like Rashford has that particular niche, that one particular free kick where it's a long punt
Yeah.
and he can have that swerve around the ball. And I think it's amazing how much I have read that Marcus Rashford practices it so much that I think that one particular free kick I'd leave to him completely.
Yeah, if
because he can
it's
do
a
it.
30-yard free kick, I would give it to him,
Yeah.
because he has that potential.
But then if it comes closer to this thing, right? I'm like Rashford
Yeah,
to
yeah.
move aside. If Mata is on the
Yeah,
pitch, I would
definitely.
love Mata to take it.
Bro,
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
very honest, I would love to have Alex Telles, whenever we get a free kick, because I've seen videos, and not just some of the videos, but so many clips of him practicing those free kicks. Even Fred does that, but Fred is horrible.
See, practicing is okay.
Bruno said it
the
once
end
when they all
picture is
were
what's
taking
important.
free kicks. Bruno said it once, right? When they all like stay after training to take free
And
kicks.
Fred also
Fred
also
goes around
stays.
running, collecting the balls or something like that. Like if they kick it, he go gets the ball back. I think that's what he said.
Hey, we need the engineer in the end. The engine room, we need that. Yeah, for him. So
Absolutely.
I take it. He needs stamina.
Also, Mohab, before you end, I would just like to point out we have also seen Phil Jones take corners for us.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's it
absolutely,
for
man.
my Phil Jones
Brilliant,
comment.
brilliant corner taker. Absolute
Yeah,
beast.
yeah.
I can't forget that game against Fulham and that 2015 season as well. 14-15 season.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing, amazing player. Amazing. Absolute genius.
Beautiful. I miss him.
All right, guys, thank you
No,
so
no
much
one
for
wants him
being
to
part of
perform
this
bad.
podcast. It was literally amazing, discussing literally everything about United and about the game. So, thank you for being part of this show. And for the people who are watching this and who will watch this, I'm not really hopeful of you guys watching till the very end. But if you are continuing to watch till the very end, kindly subscribe to our channel. DM us if you want to be part of this podcast, and tell your friends about this channel, guys. At least come on, help the community grow. Let's just be together. Let's just grow together and provide an opportunity for everyone to get a platform where they can actually express about themselves and about the club. So thank you so much, Tanmay. Thank you so much, Anantu. Thank you so much, Vignesh. Thank you, everyone. Good night, good luck, and take care. Stay at home, stay safe, guys, because Corona is still there, and you need to keep yourself very safe.